Old wisdom has more to tell you about Bala and Yemi. Part 2 ended with peace returning, remember? But peace, like the Harmattan wind, can shift and change. And this time, the change brought a new kind of unsettling, a mystery wrapped in magic, all tied to the legacy of the Earth Mother. You won't believe what happened when their children arrived. The first sign that things were changing again wasn't a storm or a whisper of greed, but something far more wondrous and strange. Yemi was with child, and when the children came, they were not just ordinary babies, they were Earthlings, we called them. Children deeply connected to the very soil of our land, just like their mother. They were twins, a boy and a girl. The boy, we named him Ita, meaning strength of the earth. The girl we called Amara, meaning grace of the earth. From the moment they were born, they were different. They didn't cry like other babies, but cooed and goggled. Their sound like the gentle bubbling of a spring. When Yemi held them, the plants around their hut seemed to grow taller. The flowers bloomed brighter. But it was their eyes that were most unsettling, most captivating. Ita's eyes were the color of rich, dark soil, and Amara's were like the shimmering green of new leaves. And they seemed to see more than ordinary babies. They would stare at the trees, at the sky, at Yemi, their gaze deep and knowing, as if they understood secrets whispered by the wind and the earth itself. As they grew, their connection to the earth became even more apparent. They could coax plants to grow with a touch, calm storms with a song, and even speak to the animals of the forest, or so it seemed. The villagers watched in awe and wonder, but also with a growing unease. They remembered the fear they had once felt for Yemi's size, and now this new kind of strangeness filled them with a different kind of unsettling. Whispers started again, of course, but these weren't whispers of mockery or greed, but whispers of destiny, whispers of power, whispers of responsibility. These children, they say their voices hushed with reverence. They are not just children. They are guardians. They are meant for something greater. Mama Ife, wise as ever, cautioned against fear and speculation. These are Yemi and Bala's children, she'd say firmly. They are blessings, just like their mother. We must nurture them, guide them, and trust in the Earth Mother's wisdom, not fear what we do not understand. But the unsettling feeling lingered, a sense that these children, these Earthlings, were destined for something extraordinary, something that would test our village and their parents in ways we could not yet imagine. As Ita and Amara grew into toddlers, their connection to the earth deepened, but so did the unsettling feeling in our village. The land, which had been so vibrant and fertile since Yemi's blessing, began to change, not wither like before, but fade. The vibrant green softened, the bright blooms paled. The abundance seemed to lessen just a little, but noticeably. It wasn't a drought or a sickness. The harvests were still good, the streams still flowed, but the extraordinary vibrancy, the almost magical abundance was fading, like the colors of a cloth washed too many times in the sun. The villagers noticed, of course. They whispered, worried, wondering if they had somehow displeased the Earth Mother, if the blessing was being withdrawn. Yemi felt it mostly keenly. She felt the earth's supple shift, its gentle sigh, its tiredness. She felt it in her own body, a lessening of her usual vibrant energy, a quiet weariness that mirrored the land. She watched Ita and Amara, her Earthlings, and saw the change reflected in them too. Their usual boundless energy was sometimes replaced by moments of quiet stillness. their bright eyes occasionally clouded with a shadow of something she couldn't quite name. She confided in Bala, her voice filled with a mother's worry. "Bala," she said, sitting by the cooking fire one evening, Ita and Amara asleep beside her. "The earth is tired. I feel it. Our blessing. It is not fading, but shifting, changing." Bala listened patiently, his arm around her, offering comfort and strength. He had learned to trust Yemi's connection to the earth, to understand her deep understanding of its rhythms and moods. "What does it mean, Yemi?" he asked gently. "What is happening?" Yemi sighed, a long, thoughtful sound. "I do not know for sure, Bala, but I feel a balance shifting. The earth has given so much for so long. Perhaps it needs to rest, to replenish. Perhaps my children, Ita and Amara, perhaps they are meant to play a part in this shift, in this rebalancing." Her words were both comforting and unsettling. Rebalancing sounded necessary, natural, but shifting power, changing blessings, that always felt a little dangerous, a little unpredictable, and the unsettling feeling, it deepened, tinged with a new kind of worry, a worry for Yemi, for the children, for the future of our village, and for the delicate balance between blessing and burden, between earth and humankind. Then the unsettling feeling turned into something more concrete, something alarming. It started with the stream, the lifeblood of our village, the stream that Yemi's blessing had made flow so strong and clear. One morning, the water was different, not cloudy, not dirty, but shadowed. A darkness seemed to linger beneath the surface, a subtle dimming of its usual sparkle, a faint chill in its flow. The villagers noticed immediately. They relied on the stream for everything: drinking, cooking, washing, farming. Any change in the stream was a change in their lives, a cause for concern. Whispers turned to worried murmurs, then to open questions. "What is wrong with the stream?" they asked. "Is the blessing fading? Is the egg mother displeased?" Yemi went to the stream, Ita and Amara toddling at her heels. She knelt by the bank, dipping her hand in the water, her brow furrowed with concentration. She could feel it too, the subtle shift, the undying darkness. It wasn't pollution, not anything physical. It was something else, something magical, something unwell. Amara, the younger twin, suddenly tugged at Yemi's clothes, her green eyes wide and serious. "Mama," she lisped, her voice clear and surprisingly strong for such a small child. Shadow in water, sad and cold. Yemi looked at Amara. Her heart skipped a beat. Amara, so young, so connected to the earth, was sensing something, seeing something that the rest of us could not. She knelt down, holding Amara close. "What shadow, Amara?" she asked gently. "What do you see?" Amara pointed to the stream, her small finger trembling slightly. "Dark snake, sleeping but waking, hotting water." Her words were simple, childlike, but they sent a chill down Yemi's spine. A dark snake, sleeping but waking, hotting water. It sounded like a threat, a magical threat, aimed at the very heart of our village blessing, the life-giving streams. Yemi shared Amara's vision with Bala, her voice filled with a new urgency. "Bala," she said, "Amara saw something, a dark snake in the stream, a magical shadow hotting the water. I fear our day was not the only darkness we faced. I fear something else is coming, something ancient, something, power. And the unsettling feeling, it solidified into a cold certainty. A certainty that a new, more dangerous threat was emerging. A threat that targeted not just Yemi, but the very source of our village life and the blessing and the trials of the Earth's mother's legacy. They were about to become far more perilous than we could have ever imagined. Yemi and Bala knew they needed guidance, wisdom beyond their own. They sought out Mama Ife, the oldest and wisest woman in the village, the keeper of ancient law, the one who remembered stories passed down through generations, stories of spirits, of magic, of the earth's hidden powers. They told Mama Ife about the fading blue, the shadow stream, Amara's vision of the dark snake. Mama Ife listened intently, her wrinkled face grave, her eyes narrowed in thought. When they finished, she was silent for a long moment, her gaze distant, as if she were listening to whispers from the past, echoes of forgotten knowledge. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and solemn. "A dark snake in the stream," she murmured. "It is an old sign, children, a sign of Onijoka." Onijoka, the name sent a shiver down my spine. Even after all these years, Onijoka, the serpent of shadows, a creature of ancient legend, a spirit of darkness and discord, safe to dwell in the deepest parts of the earth, in the hidden springs and underground rivers, a creature of immense power, capable of poisoning the land, twisting blessings into curses, and turning hearts to stone. Mama Ife explained, her voice heavy with the weight of ancient law. Onijoka sleeps for centuries, dreaming in the earth's belly. But sometimes it stares. Sometimes its darkness leaks into our world, poisoning the land, troubling the waters, testing the balance. She said that Onijoka was drawn to places of great power, places where the earth energy flows strong and free, places like our village, blessed by Yemi, the Earth Mother's daughter. Ade the sorcerer had been drawn by greed, but Onijoka was drawn by something far more ancient, far more primal, a hunger for power, a desire to plunge the world into shadow. Amara's vision, Mama Ife continued, her eyes meeting Yemi's. It is a warning. Onijoka is waking. Its shadow is falling upon our street, upon our land, upon your blessing. Yemi, we must act and act quickly before its darkness consumes us all. She said that to defeat Onijoka, to banish its shadow, we would need more than just strength or magic. We would need balance, the balance between earth and sky, between light and shadow, between human and spirit. And that balance, she said, lay within Yemi's children, Ita and Amara, the Earthlings, the legacy of the Earth Mother. And the unsettling feeling, it became chilling realization that we weren't just facing a new threat, but an ancient evil, a force of darkness that could shatter our village, destroy Yemi's blessing, and plunge our world into shadow. And the trials of the Earth Mother's legacy, they had just begun to truly test our courage, our wisdom, and our faith. With the chilling law of Onijoka echoing in our heart, Bala and Yemi called a council of elders, gathering the wisest and most respected members of our village, including Mama Ife, of course. They shared Amara's vision, Mama Ife's ancient law, and their growing fear of the darkness encroaching upon our land. The elders listened gravely, their faces etched with worry, their eyes reflecting the unsettling feeling that gripped us all. They knew the legends of Onijoka, the serpent of shadows, They knew its power, its malice, its ability to twist blessings into curses. They understood the gravity of the dread facing our village. After a long silence, old Papa D, the village elder known for his calm wisdom, spoke, his voice low and thoughtful. If Onijoka is truly waking, he said, then we face a danger unlike any we have known before. Magic alone will not defeat it. Strength alone will not suffice. We must find balance, as Mama Ife says. We must harness the power of the earth, the power of the sky, the power of our children. The elders debated long into the night, drawing upon their collective wisdom, their knowledge of ancient rituals, the understanding of the earth's rhythm. They discussed ways to appease Onijoka, to banish its shadow, to restore balance to our land. They considered offerings, chants, protective charms, ancient dances, all drawn for the rich tapestry of our Nigerian folklore and traditions. Mama Ife reminded them of the prophecy, the legend of the Earth Mother's children, destined to bring balance in times of great darkness. She said Ita and Amara were not just ordinary children, but vessels of earth and sky, conduits of ancient power, the key to defeating Onijoka. The council decided on a path of balance, a path that will require courage, wisdom, and the combined strength of our entire village, led by Yemi and Bala, guided by Mama Ife, and empowered by Ita and Amara, the Earthlings. They will perform an ancient ritual, a ritual of unity and harmony, a ritual designed to appease Onijoka, to restore balance to the stream, to banish the shadow, and to reaffirm the Earth Mother's blessing upon our land. The ritual will require specific elements: the earth from the four corners of our village, water from the purest spring, fire from the heart of the sacred grove, and air infused with the breath of innocence, the spirit of hope, the essence of children. And that, we all knew, meant Ita and Amara. The unsettling feeling, it began to shift again, replaced by a fragile hope, a determined resolve, a sense of unity and purpose. We had a plan, a path to follow, a ritual to perform, but the path was fraught with peril. The ritual was ancient and demanding, and the power of Onijoka, the serpent of shadows, was still a looming threat, a darkness waiting to be confronted. And the trials of the Earth Mother's legacy, they were far from over. The village sprang into action, united by a common purpose, driven by shared hope, guided by the council of elders. We knew the ritual to banish Onijoka was ancient and powerful, requiring elements gathered with care and intention, each imbued with a specific energy, a piece of the balance we sought to restore. Young men, led by Bala, journeyed to the four corners of our village, collecting earth from the highest hill, the deepest valley, the densest forest, and the most fertile farmland. They returned with pouches filled with rich, fragrant soil, each handful representing a different aspect of our land, a different facet of the Earth Mother's blessing. Young women, guided by Mama Ife, ventured to the purest spring, high in the hills. A spring said to be untouched by human hands, blessed by the sky spirits. They carried gourds carved with ancient symbols, filled them with crystal clear water, water that shimmered with an inner light, water that represented purity, cleansing, and the life-giving force of rain. The elders, led by Papa, they prepared the sacred fire in the heart of the ancient grove, a place where our ancestors has worshipped the Earth Mother for generations. They gathered dry wood, fragrant herbs, and special resins, building a pyre that would burn with a bright cleansing flame, representing warmth, protection, and the power of transformation. And Yemi, with Ita and Amara by her side, prepared the final element, the most crucial element, air infused with the breath of innocence, the spirit of hope. the essence of children. She spent days with Ita and Amara, singing ancient lullabies, telling them stories of the Earth Mother, filling their hearts with love, with joy, with pure, untainted innocence. She collected their breath in special gourds, capturing their laughter, their coos, their gentle sigh, the very essence of their childlike spirit, the embodiment of hope for the future. But even as we walk together, united in purpose, a shadow lingered, a darkness that threatened to unravel our efforts, to sabotage our ritual, to betray our hope. It was the shadow of Dashola and Lolade. Though their physical forms were gone, consumed by Ade's dark magic, their influence, their negativity, their lingering presence still haunted our village. Whispers arose again, not from outsiders this time, but from within. Whispers of doubt, whispers of fear, whispers of blame. Some villagers, remembering Dashola and Lolade's words, started to question Yemi's blessing, to wonder if the sisters had been right all along, if Yemi was truly a blessing, or if she was somehow responsible for the darkness now encroaching upon our land. These whispers, though quieter than before, were insidious, poisonous, threatening to divide us again, to weaken our unity, to undermine our ritual. And the unsettling feeling, it returned, not as a looming dread, but as a supple poison, seeping into our hearts, whispering down into our minds, threatening to unravel the fragile hope we had so carefully built. And the trials of the Earth Mother's legacy, they are testing not just our courage and wisdom, but our very faith in each other, in Yemi and in the power of our community. To welcome the darkness under the light of the full moon, the ritual began. The villagers gathered at the ancient shrine, their faces solemn, their hearts filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. The air was thick with anticipation, with the weight of ancient law, with unspoken fear of Onijoka's power. The elders, dressed in ceremonial robes, formed a circle around the standing stones, their voices chanting ancient words, their bodies swaying to a rhythm passed down through generations. Mama Ife, her eyes closed, her face serene, led the chanting, her voice strong and resonant, weaving a tapestry of sound that resonated with the earth itself. Bala and Yemi stood at the center of the cycle, Ita and Amara nestled safely in Yemi's arms, their innocent breasts held in the gourds beside them. Yemi, her face radiant despite her weariness, held the pouches of earth, the gourds of spring water, ready to offer them to the earth, to appease Onijoka, to restore balance. Papa Ade tended the sacred fire, its flames leaping high, casting flickering shadows across the clearing, illuminating the faces of the villagers. The ancient stones, the solemn ritual, unfolding under the watchful eye of the moon. The drumming began, slow and steady at first, then gradually building in intensity, a heartbeat rhythm that pulsed through the earth, through our bodies, through our very souls. As the chanting grew louder, the drumming more intense, Yemi began to move, her steps slow and deliberate, circling the shrine, scattering the earth from the four corners, pouring the spring water into the ancient stones, her voice joining Mama Ife in the ancient chants, her power radiating outwards, connecting with earth energy, weaving a protective circle around our village. But as the ritual reached its peak, as the fire blazed brightest, as the drumming reached a frenzied crescendo, a darkness stirred. The shadows in the woods seemed to deepen, to lengthen, to white with unseen energy. A cold wind swept through the clearing, extinguishing some of the fire flames, chilling the air, silencing the bird song. The stream, which flowed nearby, began to churn and bubble, its shadowed waters darkening further, emitting a low guttural growl that seemed to echo from the depths of the earth itself. Onijoka was staring, its shadow was awakening. Our ritual, instead of appeasing it, seemed to have angered it, and the unsettling feeling, it exploded into full-blown terror that our efforts had backfired, terror that we had awakened the power we could not control, terror that Onijoka, the serpent of shadows, was about to unleash its full fury upon our village. The trials of the Earth Mother's legacy had reached their most perilous point, and the fate of our community, and perhaps the world, hung precariously in the balance. As Onijoka's shadow stared, unleashing its chilling power, fear gripped the villagers. The chanting faltered, the drumming weakened, the fire flickered low. Our carefully constructed ritual threatened to collapse under the weight of ancient darkness. This dark magic had been terrifying. But this was something else entirely. This was primal, elemental, a force of nature twisted into malice. The shadowy figures returned, swelling and writhing, no longer just illusions, but solid, menacing forms. Their clawed hands reaching out, their red eyes burning with hatred, they launched at the villagers, scattering them, their icy touch chilling to the bone, their presence draining hope and courage from our hearts. Yemi, though weakened, stood firm, her eyes blazing with protective fury. She raised her hands again, channeling the earth's power, trying to push back the encroaching darkness. But Onijoka's shadow was too strong, too ancient, too deeply rooted in the earth itself. Her earth magic faltered, weakened by the serpent's insidious influence. Bala, spear in hand, fought bravely, defending Yemi, protecting the villagers. But his hunter skills were useless against these shadowy beings, these creatures of pure darkness. His spear passed right through them, doing no harm, their icy touch draining his strength, chilling his spirit. Mama Ife, though frail with age, stood her ground, her voice rising above the chaos, chanting ancient words of protection, wielding her walking stick like a staff, trying to ward off the shadowy figures. But even her powerful magic seemed to be struggling against Onijoka's overwhelming darkness. The spear began to creep in. The unsettling feeling threatened to overwhelm us completely. It seemed Onijoka was too powerful, its shadow too deep, its darkness too all-consuming. Our ritual was failing. Our village was doomed. The Earth Mother's blessing was about to be extinguished. But then, a small voice, clear and pure, cut through the chaos, through the fear, through the darkness. Mama Amara lisped, her green eyes shining brightly, her small hand reaching out to Yemi. Light, Mama, light for Snake. Yemi looked down at Amara, her heart leaping with a surge of hope. Light for Snake. Amara the Earthling, the child of light and earth, understood something we had missed, something crucial to defeating Onijoka's shadow. It wasn't brute force, not just earth power, but light, the pure, untainted light of innocence, the radiant light of hope, the life-giving light of children. Yemi looked at Ita, his dark eyes mirroring Amara's, his face filled with a quiet understanding. He nodded slowly, reaching for his sister's hands, their small hands clasping together, their innocent spirits uniting, their earthling power combining, radiating outwards in a wave of pure golden light. And the unsettling feeling, it shattered completely, replaced by a blinding surge of hope, a radiant certainty that even in the deepest darkness, the light of innocence, the legacy of the Earth Mother, could prevail. As Ita and Amara unleashed their combined earthling light, a wave of pure golden energy surged outwards from them, pushing back the encroaching darkness, dispelling the shadowy figures, illuminating the shrine with a radiant glow that banished fear and despair from our hearts. The dark snake in the stream shrieked, a guttural growl turning into a pained hiss, a shadowy form written in agony as the children's light pierced its darkness, burning away its malice, exposing its true twisted nature. The stream began to clear, its shadowed waters regaining their sparkle, its flow becoming stronger, purer, infused with the children's light. At this dark magic, the shadowy figures, Onijoka's chilling presence, all recalled from the children's radiant power, retreating back into the shadows, shrinking, fading, dissolving under the relentless onslaught of pure innocent light. The fire in the sacred grove blazed anew, its flames leaping higher, brighter, warmer, fueled by the children's energy, casting out the cold darkness, reaffirming the warmth and protection of the Earth Mother's blessing. Yemi and Bala watched in awe as Ita and Amara, their Earthlings, their children of light and earth, stood hand in hand, their small bodies radiating an immense power, their innocent spirits banishing ancient darkness, restoring balance to our land, fulfilling the prophecy of the Earth Mother's legacy. Mama Efe and the elders resumed their chanting, their voices now filled with joy and gratitude, their reading strengthened by the children's light, their ancient words infused with a renewed power. The villagers, their fear replaced by wonder, joined in the chanting, their voices rising in a chorus of hope and relief, their hearts overflowing with love and gratitude for Yemi, for Bala, for Ita and Amara, for the Earth Mother's enduring blessing. Slowly, gradually, Onijoka's shadow receded completely, vanished from our village, driven back into the deepest parts of the earth, its malice neutralized, its power broken by the pure innocent light of the Earthling. Balance was restored, darkness was defeated, hope prevailed, and the unsettling feeling, it was finally, completely, irrevocably gone, replaced by a profound sense of peace, a deep abiding joy, a radiant certainty that the legacy of the Earth Mother, embodied in Ita and Amara, would continue to protect and bless our village for generations to come. The trial of the Earth Mother's legacy has reached their triumphant conclusion, and our village, stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before, had emerged from the darkness into a new era of light and abundance. With Onijoka banished and balance restored, a new era dawned in our village, an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity, an era illuminated by the radiant light of Ita and Amara, the Earthlings, the children of the Earth's Mother's legacy. The land flourished, the stream flowed clear and strong, our community thrived, and our hearts filled with a deep, abiding gratitude for the blessings we had received and the trials we had overcome. Ita and Amara grew up not just as children, but as guardians. They learned from Yemi about the earth's rhythms, about the language of plants and animals, about the ancient powers that flow through our land. They learned from Bala about courage, wisdom, kindness, and the importance of community. They learned from Mama Efe about ancient law, about rituals and chants, about the delicate balance between light and shadow, blessing and burden. They became healers, protectors, guides. Their earthling powers grew stronger with each passing year. Their presence a constant source of comfort, strength and hope for our village. They mediated disputes, healed the sick, protected our harvest, and ensured the continued harmony between our community and the natural world. Yemi and Bala, their hearts overflowing with pride and love, watched their children fulfill their destiny, carrying on the Earth Mother's legacy, ensuring that their blessing would endure for generations to come. Their love story, once whispered with mockery and fear, became a legend, a testament to the power of seeing beyond appearances, of embracing the unexpected, of finding blessings in the most unlikely of places, and of the enduring strength of love in the face of adversity. And me, old wisdom, I live to see this new era unfold, to witness the children's light shine brighter and brighter, to share their story with new generations, to pass on the timeless lessons we learned, lessons of courage, wisdom, unity, respect, and the unwavering faith in the earth, Mother's enduring blessing. The unsettling feeling, it never returned, replaced by a profound sense of peace, a deep abiding joy, a radiant certainty that even in the face of darkness, even when faced with ancient evils, the light of innocence, the power of love, and the legacy of the Earth Mother would always prevail. Now you have heard the complete saga of Bala and Yemi, the full story of the Earth Mother's legacy, a tale of trials overcome, darkness banished, and blessings enduring. But even legacies continue to unfold, and the world is always full of new stories waiting to be told. In part 4, you will see Ita and Amara's own journey. Follow the Earthling twins as they embark on their own adventures, facing new challenges, discovering new powers, and expanding the reach of the Earth Mother's blessing beyond our village. The return of forgotten evils, ancient forces disturbed by Onijoka's defeat, stare in the shadows, seeking to reclaim their power and plunge the world into darkness once more, testing Ita and Amara's strength and resolve to their limits. New allies and enemies emerge. Ita and Amara encounter other magical beings, both benevolent and malevolent, from the rich tapestry of Nigerian folklore, expanding their world and testing their alliance. The ultimate destiny of the Earth Mother's legacy, discover the long-term impact of Yemi's blessing on the world, and the final fate of Ita and Amara, the guardians of the earth, ensuring that their story and their light will never be forgotten. Don't miss part 4 to witness the next chapter in this epic folk tale. Click right here to continue the adventure and explore even deeper into the magical world of Bala and Yemi's legacy and the timeless battle between light and shadow, blessing our burden, and the enduring power of love and courage.